Alright everybody, welcome back for another video of Virtual Warfare, text-based roleplay fighting tutorial series. And today's video is going to be a video that's going to give a brief summary of all the lessons in Virtual Warfare so people can have an easier way to navigate them and know exactly what these videos or these lessons are talking about. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. The first one, lesson 1, is about GODMODE. You know, GODMODE is about what GODMODE is about, not breaking the laws of physics, omnipotence, you know, anything that practically the supreme being can do, or you know, like destroying planets, stuff like that. Pretty much the first video is about, you know, things about GODMODE. Okay, the second video is about auto. You know, everybody has an idea of auto, which I hope so. You know, auto consists of, you know, auto hitting, controlling a character, or what Virtual Warfare like to emphasize on is skipping steps. You know, skipping steps, whereas like if you don't focus before you create a magic spell, you know, that's an auto. Or if you don't draw your sword before you slash, that's an auto. Or you know, if you don't state that you approach your opponent before you attack them, it's auto. You know, so these are skipping steps. Lesson number 3 is about laws of stability, and the laws of stability is about creating characters that have impossible immunities or impossible things that may hinder the system. So some of them are like being immune to the natural 4 elements. You know, that's practically impossible because the 4 elements are around us anyway. Being in non-natural occurrences like rainfall and heat and stuff like that. You know, these are the laws of stability, and these laws keep roleplay together. Lesson 4 is about basic attacking. You know, so this is about teaching people how to write the perfect commands to have a correct roleplay fighting attack without autoing, without GODMODE, and you know, just have it legitimately produce. You know, and this also helps people to not skip steps. You know, lesson number 5 is practically the same thing, but in a defensive point of view. You know, is about basic defending, and it shares the same commands, but you know, like I said before, in a defensive way. You know, so instead of to cause a result, it would be to block. And you know, instead of like, you know, approaching the opponent, it would be like, I noticed the opponent, you know, attacks, therefore I block, stuff like that. So this is lesson 5. Lesson number 6 is about basic telekinesis. You know, it's the same, again, it's the same thing as attacking and defending. You know, use the same commands, but it's about using the mind to manipulate, you know, certain things. And one of the factors in there is stating that you focus before you actually continue on with the process of manipulating, you know, your ability or whatever, because that's very important, because level of concentration shows a lot. You know, we get to another video. Lesson number 7 is it's a basic spar. Pretty much it's a hands-on view of the 5 commands put into action. You know, so if you want to see how the 5 commands are action or taught to someone and they are actually applying, this is in lesson 7. Lesson number 8, this is where we get into the advanced section. You know, number 8 is about, you know, understanding the measurements. You know, how to implement the measurements into a basic attack. You know, so examples like adding distance, you know, adding force, you know, adding speed, you know, adding energy, you know, adding these things to make the role play more significant, or to make the attack more legitimate and valid in a way where, you know, a lot of assumption is not being used. Lesson number 5 is about the laws of exertion. You know, this is something that Virtual Warfare implemented. If you actually, you know, looked at one of the Virtual Warfare history videos, it was something that I came up with to, you know, that's another story. So the laws of exertion will show how much effort a character is producing in their attacks. You know, so this can differentiate the level of effort, you know, when it's put into the attack. Lesson number 10 is about telekinetic enhancement. So it's the same thing as basic attacking, but I'm sorry, not the same thing, not as basic attacking, but advanced. You know, using the regiments for advanced. This would teach people to this will teach people how to use their telekinetic ability in a more proficient way. So each step, like focusing and adding the result, now you can generate the quality of the result. The quality of the focus, and you can understand how to implement the laws of exertion by using a particular amount of effort when using telekinesis. So this is lesson number 10. Excuse me. And lesson number 11 is a hands-on view of how these measurements are implemented into and taught and implemented into the roleplay fighting. So you will see somebody get taught these lessons, and you will see how that person used the lessons and implemented into virtual roleplay fighting. Lesson number 12A, is an introduction of what quantum combat is about. And quantum combat is about manipulating electromagnetics and using the laws of exertion to manipulate existence in a more proficient way. So instead of just implementing them to control your character better, now you'll be able to see how the laws of exertion is used and how to gain a strategy off of that. 12B, lesson 12B is about the laws of fluidity. So it's about the laws of exertion, but it's taught. It teaches the person how to manipulate those laws of exertion to create a fluid nature of their character. Just like people use, you see like Kung Fu people, they use like a fluid type of motion in their fighting style. The laws of exertion, the laws of fluidity would teach people how to use that fluid momentum in their fighting to make their attacks more fluid and stronger. Lesson number 13 is about, excuse me, I keep clearing my throat. Lesson number 13 is about quantum conjuring, and this lesson teaches people this ability of laws of exertion, so how to fluctuate the forms of effort, the forms of focuses, how to achieve a stronger and more fluid application of telekinesis. The same way a person will use the laws of fluidity, for physical attacks, now someone will understand how to use the laws of fluidity for telekinetic attacks. So this is lesson 13. Lesson 14 will be about metaphysical combat. So it's the intro to metaphysical combat. In this video, pretty much the introduction of how to implement spiritual properties into the virtual world, such as chi, chakra, and other concepts. So this is what 14 is about. Lesson number 15 is about using thoughts and emotions as powers. This video will be teaching players how to use thoughts and emotions in a tangible form, like causing physical damage and stuff like that, to gain strength and in other various forms too. Lesson number 16 is about creating matter and mass from nothing and creating their own substance. So pretty much this lesson teaches players how to legitimately create matter and mass through virtually nothing, and but through electromagnetics is pretty much what it is. And also it teaches people how to create their own substance without breaking any laws of physics and without making it God mode or overpowering and stuff like that. Lesson number 17 is one of the latest video I did. And this video is about multiple mind frames and becoming one with the universe. So the multiple mind frames of this, the video explains the difference between having multiple focuses technique, using multi-focus technique, or it would differentiate between having a multi-focus technique and using the multiple states of consciousness to focus on multiple things. So these are two different concepts. And to become one with the universe, it would teach people how to become one with the universe, literally, but not having like all power and be connected to all things, but teaching people how to use their character in a way where they can overcome all circumstance. And that's pretty much at the end of these videos. There are 3 more lessons. They're not the end of the video, I'm sorry. There are 3 more lessons that are not published yet. That's for season 3. So I'm going to talk about them, but when they come out, the links in the description. There will be the links in the description, so you can find out where they are. So lesson number 18 will be about returning back to the soul and using the art or concept of disappearing. This way, there's a way to become completely spiritual or purely composed of the essence of pure consciousness. And this video will teach players how to do so without, the forms of auto-win and God-mode, which will allow them to legitimately perform these feats to resemble something like plane walking or something like that, where a person, quote unquote, leaves the physical world, travels on the spiritual world, and come back to the physical world. So this would be taught. This teach people how to do it legitimately without auto and God mode, and it will also teach people how to have a concept of disappearing. You can't disappear in roleplay fighting; it's illegal. But you can use. It can be phrased as disappearing the way the person will be taught how to create certain illusions and perform certain techniques to make it seem like they disappear. So this would be lesson number 18, and the last lesson for season 3, or in the metaphysical. The metaphysical section will be creating a sentience, and this video will be teaching people how to create sentience, whether through living species like plants and stuff like that, or inanimate objects, so like a sword or something like that, or anything that you would choose to use as a weapon, and it will also teach them how to use the proper concepts to do these things and the proper essence to achieve it. And that's pretty much it. Season 4 will actually be starting after these videos, so there's one more lesson. There's one more level of virtual warfare, and it's called Metaphysics. And Metaphysics deals with knowing and utilizing the system of roleplay fighting instead of utilizing powers and abilities, but now I would teach people how to use the system to have an upper hand, or how to use the system to just fight better instead of just relying on tactics and powers. Now you can use the system in a more proficient way to gain some knowledge and some wins. Check out Virtual Warfare's Discord. Help it grow by asking questions and debating about theories on roleplay fighting, just hanging out and talking and just having fun about roleplay fighting. The link to the Discord would be in the description. Virtual Warfare is also on Kick for those who don't have Discord, so you can contact Virtual Warfare, which is me, through Kick. I will leave the Kick name or the description. The Kick name and the link to my Kick name in the description below. That's pretty much it. I want to thank everybody for subscribing to my channel, liking my videos and stuff like that. You don't know how much it means to me just to see one extra subscriber. Like it really makes me happy, and it makes me feel like that my work is not in vain. Somebody's actually interested in what I have to say about roleplay fighting and actually learning about roleplay fighting through my videos. So that really makes me feel good. So I ask everybody just subscribe to the channel, like my videos. Just keep it going to motivate me to continue making these videos. That's pretty much it. Thanks everybody for watching, and see everybody in the future. Deuces.